The new perks went through both balance and visual changes throughout their development. What I'm about to show you is quite possibly one of the first iterations of these perks. First of all, let's take a look at the perk tree real quick. You can see the new perks are just crammed in the original 5 levels we had. And also, you would have had to unlock an active perk slot through here instead of just 2 passive slots like it is now. With that note, let's start it off with passive perks. I'll be mainly pointing out the ones which stand out the most since many of them are pretty much the same. Second Wind's first redesign gave you a whopping 50% sprint speed boost after running just for 3 seconds. This is quite a huge boost, but since it's an early implementation, even the tiniest fall would instantly cancel the effects. Souped Up Zipline Motor had the forward key boost from the very first redesign. Here's what it looked like. It's pretty much the same, just lacking any of the fancy effects. As we all know, it was ultimately merged with the zipline instead of being kept as its own perk. Unstoppable simply only worked against storms and earthquakes, similarly with Temperature Isolation, which was renamed to Elemental Isolation and made to work with more than just heat and cold. Also, the passive perks were visible on the HUD for some reason. Now on to active perks. I will note straight off the bat that Berserker is pretty much the same as it is now. Field Medic is very similar to the current one, except the activation didn't work, so it would just activate randomly when you're reviving. Oh, who am I reviving? Meet Dwarf, my laptop assistant. He's a laggy fellow with a very original nickname. Here you can see me shooting him down for the video. Active Impact Compensator is one of the cut perks that would make you take 75% less fall damage if the jump button is held down while falling. And Jump Boots is also a cut perk which would let you perform double jumps. Originally the second jump wasn't as big as it was in the live build. These two were then merged into Hover Boots we have now, and people weren't really happy about that. I believe Shield Link originally stacked the effect, so 4 dwarves with this perk would make your shield almost instantly recharge. The placeholder effects were annoying to say the least, where it would mimic the electrical crystal effects when near a teammate and do this fake fire effect when boosted. I also did a damage test here to see if the shield boost is the same. It does seem to still be a 300% increase, but there's a visual bug on the HUD here, where it appears that I still have 50% of my shield left, when in reality it's gone. There's also a long delay before my shield comes back after the boost. Not sure if intentional. Dash had that awful double tap forward to activate thing, and acted much more like a temporary speed boost than like an actual dash. Beastmaster originally allowed you to convert regular glyphids only 5 times per mission. The placeholder effect was simply electrocution at this point, and Steve would also distract more enemies than it does now, I think at least. And in some of the later builds, converted grunts would turn yellow instead. See You in Hell was originally much weaker, would activate instantly after going down and dealt a ton of friendly fire damage to teammates. Iron Will was famously nerfed with this update. The nerf was originally worse as it didn't have slowdown immunity and a speed boost. For a one-time perk, those original advantages are pretty awful. It would be honestly better as a self-revive at that point. Heightened Senses. While the description states it would take down anything that grabbed you, in-game it doesn't actually kill the target. Also, perks actually worked in the Space Rig even before this update. Now, let's take a brief look at the cut milestones. There were originally going to be milestones for finding rare resources like error cubes or bitter gem. Although while it is here, I believe it never actually counted up. There were also milestones for killing dreadnoughts, cave leeches, and spitballers. You can see in this clip the milestone triggering when killing a cave leech in a mission. There were also milestones for 2-cut mutators, which are called No Headlights and Volatile Flares. No Headlights likely did what the name suggests, which is disable headlights for the duration of the mission. Volatile Flares is something I've actually shown off in my very first gameplay video. This mutator would drain your shield for every flare that you would throw. Lastly, this usable cylinder from Experimental Branch really was a test for the figurines teased on Twitter.